The first time I lied to my followers, I swore it was harmless. But that lie became the seed of my destruction. I told them I loved the product, though I had never used it. I smiled into the lens, pretending the happiness was mine, but it was scripted. My manager, Alex, said, "This is what they want. Give them the dream, not the truth." I wanted validation, not honesty, and the likes became a drug. I told myself, it's just one post, just one mask. But masks multiply until you forget the shape of your own face. My followers cheered. The comments overflowed, but their love wasn't mine. It belonged to the lie. I built an empire out of borrowed words and stolen authenticity. Every photo became a staged illusion, every caption a polished lie. The ghost of who I once was whispered, "They don't know you anymore." I ignored it, drowning in filters and fame. The ring light burned my eyes, the applause burned my soul, and the silence after every post was deafening. That was the first fracture in my carefully built glass castle. When I first tasted fame, it wasn't sweet, it was bitter. I told myself, this is love, but it was obsession. The followers cheered, but I felt unseen. Every heart was hollow, every comment conditional. Alex said, "They want fantasy, not reality." And I gave them fantasy until reality rotted away. Behind the perfect selfies, I was crumbling. I woke each day performing, not living. My eyes scanned the mirror, searching for the person I used to be. But the reflection was painted, filtered, unreal. My laugh, my tears, all packaged for consumption. I asked myself, who am I without them? Silence answered. That silence was louder than applause. It was the start of my unraveling. I thought success would heal the emptiness inside me, but it carved the wound deeper. My followers adored the mask, not the person. I told them I was thriving while inside I whispered, "I'm drowning." Every brand deal felt like a leash. Alex said, "Play the part, and you'll own the world." But the part owned me. Even my closest friend, Claire, said, "You're lucky. Millions would kill for your life." They didn't see the nights I cried into my pillow begging to be real again. The more they loved me, the more I hated myself. Every time I posted, my stomach knotted. Would they believe me this time? I scrolled comments obsessively, hunting for validation that never filled me. My heart raced with every notification, but the silence between pings was torture. My ghost whispered, "They don't follow you, they follow her." I ignored it, posting another lie, layering mask on mask. Each caption, each smile, a betrayal. My audience adored the invention. I was their fantasy, never their truth. I wanted to scream, but instead, I typed another empty line. My own words became prison bars. The silence after the applause haunted me more than the noise itself. When the lights dimmed and the phone screen went dark, I was alone. Alone with the lies, the masks, the emptiness. I asked myself, if I stop, will anyone notice? The answer terrified me. They didn't follow me, they followed the ghost I invented. And even I started believing she was real. That was the moment I realized I had already sold out. And the price was myself. The applause faded, but the loneliness remained. At night, I stared at the ceiling, wondering if anyone truly saw me. Claire said, "You're living the dream," but her voice felt distant, like she was talking to someone else. The truth was, I felt hollow, even with millions following me. My laugh was rehearsed, my smile painted, my soul exhausted. I thought about the girl I once was, 18 and dreaming of connection, not fame. That girl was gone, replaced by a stranger in flawless makeup. My chest ached as I whispered, "Do they love me or the lie?" The silence answered brutally. My followers adored the invention, not the fragile human beneath. Every heart emoji carved the emptiness deeper. I wanted to be touched, not liked. To be held, not followed. Yet I kept feeding them the illusion, starving myself of truth. In their love, I found only absence. When the lights were off, my body trembled with shame. Alex said, "It's the price of fame," but the price was my soul. The loneliness crawled into my bones, whispering that without the mask, I was nothing. Claire tried to comfort me, saying, "You've built something incredible," but her words only deepened the wound. Incredible for who? For them? For the brands? Not for me. I wanted to tell her the truth, that every compliment felt like poison. Instead, I smiled and nodded, afraid she would leave if she saw the cracks. I envied the normal life I abandoned, dinners without phones, laughter without hashtags. Fame gave me an audience, but stole intimacy. Each night I curled tighter into myself, wishing the love I performed for was real. But it never was. And I never was enough. Every like felt like a lie stamped into my skin. I told myself they love me, but the voice inside screamed, they love her. The ghost of who I was haunted me in every reflection, whispering, "You are forgotten." I pressed my hands against my chest, desperate to feel alive. My manager praised the numbers, Claire praised the success, fans praised the image. But nobody praised the truth. I wondered, if I vanished, would anyone notice the real me was gone? The weight of that thought suffocated me. I craved touch, a voice that said, "I see you." Not the performance, not the mask. Just me. But the world never wanted me. They wanted perfection, and I kept giving it to them until I couldn't breathe. My silence was louder than the applause, my emptiness heavier than their adoration. The more they adored me, the lonelier I became. I scrolled endlessly, hunting for connection, but every comment felt like static. "We love you," they wrote, but I knew they loved only the version I sold them. Claire said once, "You're never really alone with millions watching." She was wrong. I was always alone, surrounded by digital ghosts, worshipped by strangers, unseen by anyone real. My chest ached for a hug, not a like. I wanted someone to hold me without asking for selfies, without caring about followers. But all I had were empty rooms and glowing screens. Fame felt like standing on stage in a spotlight while the theater was empty. My echo was the only voice that answered. And in that silence I realized the empire I built was made of shadows. I told myself I was lucky, that I had what millions dreamed of. Yet every night I felt cursed. The weight of their love crushed me, because it wasn't for me, it was for the illusion. I whispered, "If I disappear, will they mourn or move on?" My reflection didn't answer, only stared back with eyes I didn't recognize. Alex would say, "You can't stop now, not when we're on top." Claire would say, "You're stronger than you think." But neither knew the truth. I was already breaking. Fame didn't fill the emptiness, it deepened it. I didn't crave applause. I craved truth. I craved to be seen without filters, without scripts, without the endless lies. But I had sold out too cheap, and now even my soul felt borrowed. The lies grew heavier with every post, and soon I couldn't tell where the mask ended. And I began. Alex said, "We've secured another brand deal," his eyes gleaming like it was a victory. But to me, it felt like chains tightening. I stared at the contract, seeing numbers, but feeling nothing. Claire noticed my silence and asked, "Are you okay?" I wanted to scream, "No, I'm drowning," but instead I smiled and said, "Just tired." The truth was rotting inside me, but the world demanded perfection. My ghost whispered, "You are fading," and I felt it in every hollow breath. The crowd cheered louder, but their applause sounded like claws ripping me apart. I was a puppet, strings pulled by greed and validation. And every lie I told unraveled another piece of my soul, until there was almost nothing left to give. The deals multiplied, and so did the betrayals. Friends who once laughed with me now spoke through clenched smiles, waiting for their piece of the empire. Claire's voice trembled as she said, "You've changed." I wanted to say, "No, I've been consumed." But I stayed silent, burying truth under fake gratitude. Alex praised me, calling me unstoppable, but I felt like a hollow trophy. The ghost whispered, "You don't belong to yourself anymore." Each photo I posted felt like another nail in my coffin. Fans adored me, yet their love was conditional, vanishing with one wrong move. I was trapped, my life orchestrated by others, my voice drowned out by curated lies. And the more I obeyed, the less of me remained. Every lie demanded another, and soon I couldn't remember the last time I told the truth. Claire's patience thinned. Her warmth was fading into resentment. She muttered, "You only care about numbers now." Her words stabbed deeper than she knew. I wanted to say, "I care about survival, not numbers," but even survival felt like an illusion. Alex pushed harder, dangling fame like bait, whispering, "Without me, you're nothing." The crowd echoed the same sentiment with every scroll, every cheer, every cancel threat. My ghost laughed bitterly, reminding me that I traded my soul for applause. Each betrayal cut deeper, and I wondered how much blood was left in me to bleed. My empire glittered brighter, but inside I was nothing but dust. The facade began slipping in public. At an event, my smile cracked under the flashing cameras. Alex hissed, "Hold it together," while gripping my arm too tightly. I wanted to break free, but fear glued me in place. Claire looked at me with pity, as if I had already been lost. The crowd roared, their cheers deafening, but I felt their judgment simmering beneath. My ghost whispered, "They'll eat you alive." And maybe I wanted them to, because I was too tired to keep pretending. The weight of every betrayal pressed against my chest, and the mask threatened to shatter at any moment. My empire looked untouchable, but I was breaking where no one could see, except me. The unraveling was unstoppable. Every secret threatened exposure. Every betrayal pulled me closer to collapse. Alex whispered promises of more, but I heard only chains. Claire's silence cut sharper than her words. She no longer defended me, only watched. The crowd's adoration shifted, turning suspicious, waiting for me to fall. I felt it in every glare, every question disguised as praise. My ghost sneered, "This is the empire you built." And I knew it was true. Lies stacked like cards, trembling, ready to topple. I was desperate, terrified, and addicted all at once. Fame devoured me piece by piece, and I didn't know how much longer I could keep feeding it. The mask was cracking, and soon the whole world would see the fracture. This crack didn't come from me, it came from Claire. She looked at me one night, her voice trembling. "They should know the truth." My chest tightened as fear surged through me. The truth was the one thing I couldn't afford. Alex warned me, if the mask falls, so does everything. But Claire's eyes were heavy with betrayal, and I realized she had already turned. She knew my secrets. The fake deals, the scripted smiles, the ghost I buried. My ghost whispered, "She will break you." And I knew it was right. The betrayal cut deeper because it came from the only one who once saw the real me. I thought she was my anchor, but she became the storm. The empire wasn't collapsing from outside hate, it was rotting from within. I wanted to scream at Claire, beg her to stay loyal, but her silence was louder than any threat. She said softly, "You're not who you pretend to be." My pulse pounded like drums in my ears. Alex entered, cold and smug, his voice dripping venom. "Let her talk, they'll eat it up." In that moment I realized my empire wasn't mine. It belonged to them, the betrayer and the manipulator. My ghost whispered, "They've caged you," and the bars rattled inside me. The twist was brutal. The people I trusted most were the ones feeding the fire. Fame wasn't stolen by strangers. It was orchestrated betrayal from within. My mask was no longer slipping. It was being ripped away. The betrayal spread faster than wildfire. My secrets, once whispered in shadows, became headlines. Claire had exposed me, whether intentional or desperate. The crowd turned merciless, their love curdling into judgment. Alex thrived on the chaos, spinning it into profit. He said coldly, "Scandal sells." My chest hollowed with rage and despair. I wasn't falling by accident, I was being pushed. My ghost whispered, "This is who you've always been. A lie built for consumption." The revelation crushed me. The person they adored online was never me. It was a ghost I built out of everything I wasn't. And now that ghost was devouring me whole. The twist deepened when I realized Claire hadn't betrayed me alone. She had been manipulated. Alex had whispered poison in her ear, feeding her doubts, pulling her away from me. She confessed with tears. "He made me believe you were gone." The words shredded me because in truth, I was gone. I had been gone for years, buried beneath filters and lies. My ghost whispered, "She only exposed what you already killed." The betrayal wasn't simple. It was layered, tangled with manipulation and weakness. The mask wasn't torn by enemies, but dismantled by those who once held me closest. And now, there was nothing left to hide behind. The final twist wasn't betrayal from Claire or Alex. It was the realization that I had betrayed myself first. Every lie, every mask, every silence was my doing. They only pushed what I had already set in motion. The empire crumbled not because of them, but because I built it on sand. My ghost whispered, "I warned you." And I finally heard it clearly. The truth was that the person everyone loved never existed. She was a ghost I created, and I lost myself trying to keep her alive. Claire's betrayal, Alex's manipulation, the crowd's cruelty, they were only mirrors reflecting the truth. The collapse was inevitable, and I was the one who lit the match. The storm finally broke, not outside but inside me. The crowd screamed my name online, their love twisted into rage. Headlines splashed my downfall, scandals louder than truth. Alex smirked, "Ride the wave. Scandal sells." Claire cried, but her tears were drowned in the noise. I stood at the center of chaos, trembling, mascara streaked like war paint. The silence I once feared was gone, replaced by a roar I couldn't escape. My ghost whispered, "Now they see you, but not who you are." The weight of their judgment crushed me until I could barely breathe. Fame had never been mine. It was a cage built of filters and lies. Now the cage was burning, and I was inside. My hands shook as I realized. This was the end of the mask. The rage inside me finally erupted. I screamed at Alex, "You don't own me!" But my voice cracked under the weight of despair. He sneered, "Without me, you're nothing." Claire tried to hold me, whispering, "Please stop." But I tore away, collapsing under flashing lights. My followers' voices turned venomous, millions of strangers tearing me apart with every comment. My ghost whispered, "This is the storm you summoned." Tears burned, fury and despair colliding like thunder. My empire crumbled live, every crack broadcast for the world to devour. I wanted to disappear, to burn the mask, to end it all. But I couldn't escape, not yet. I was trapped in the eye of the storm. The mask shattered completely on stage. I faced the audience, thousands of flashing phones pointed at me and said, "I lied to you all." Gasps rippled through the crowd, their love collapsing into betrayal. Alex hissed behind me, "Shut up," but I kept speaking, tears streaming. Claire stood frozen, torn between loyalty and fear. My ghost whispered, "Finally, the truth." But the truth came out broken, soaked in rage and grief. The applause was gone, replaced by silence sharp enough to cut. I fell to my knees, sobbing into the mic, knowing there was no going back. The empire I built on lies was ashes, and I was burning with it. The storm ripped me apart. Online I was cancelled, ripped to shreds in every corner of the internet. Headlines screamed betrayal, fans demanded my destruction. Alex vanished into shadows, already plotting his next puppet. Claire reached for me, whispering, "I'm still here," but her voice was faint against the roar. My ghost whispered, "You asked for love and got judgment." I smashed my phone against the wall, the screen exploding into shards. The silence afterward was deafening, heavier than the noise. Rage burned in my chest, but it was empty, hollow rage. I wasn't angry at them. I was angry at me. At the empire I built, the lies I fed, the ghost I kept alive. And now, there was nothing left to protect me. The climax wasn't just scandal, it was the silence that followed. When the crowd was gone, when Alex vanished, when Claire stopped speaking, I realized the truth. Nobody cared if I lived or died. That was the sharpest cut of all. My ghost whispered, "You were never real to them." I curled into myself, shaking, my empire reduced to ashes. Fame had devoured me, and I let it. The mask was gone, the lies gone, the applause gone. All that remained was silence, deep and suffocating. I once thought cancellation would destroy me, but it was this emptiness that finally broke me. The truth I feared became the weapon that killed me, and I had sharpened it myself. The aftermath was quiet, almost suffocating. The chaos had burned itself out, leaving silence heavy as lead. Alex was gone, chasing his next prize. Claire was distant, her trust fractured. I sat alone in my dark apartment, staring at the shadows on the wall. My ghost whispered, "This is what you wanted, truth." But truth felt heavier than lies ever did. I thought exposure would kill me, but instead, I was left alive with nothing. No applause, no empire, no love. Just me, raw and broken. For the first time I saw myself without filters or makeup, and I barely recognized the person staring back. The silence didn't comfort me, it judged me, and I couldn't look away. I wanted redemption, but I didn't know where to begin. Claire said, "You need to be honest with yourself before anyone else." Her voice was tired but soft. I wanted to believe her, but my reflection mocked me every time I tried. I whispered, "I don't even know who I am anymore." The ghost within me murmured, "You always knew, you just buried it." The empire was gone, but the scars remained. The silence felt like a punishment, yet maybe it was also a chance. A chance to stop lying, to stop pretending, to start again. But starting again meant facing the parts of me I spent years hiding. And I wasn't sure I had the strength. For the first time in years, I logged out. No posts, no likes, no screens glowing in the dark. Just silence. It felt alien, but it was real. Claire asked, "Are you scared?" And I nodded. Scared of living without applause. Scared of being forgotten. Scared of being myself. My ghost whispered, "This is freedom." And maybe it was. I walked outside without makeup, no camera, no mask. The world didn't stop. Nobody screamed, nobody adored. For once, I was invisible, and it was terrifying but strangely peaceful. I realized I had been seen by millions, but never by myself. And that was the truth I couldn't ignore anymore. Redemption didn't come with applause, it came with silence. I sat in a small cafe, notebook open, pen trembling in my hand. No filters, no captions, just raw words bleeding onto paper. Claire joined me quietly, saying nothing, just sitting there. The ghost whispered, "You're closer to me now." And I felt it. For the first time I wasn't writing for millions, I was writing for me. The words were messy, but they were mine. Fame had stolen my voice, but in the ruins I was finding fragments again. My empire was ashes, but maybe from ashes something real could grow. I didn't know if the world would forgive me, but maybe I didn't need them to. Resolution wasn't victory, it was acceptance. I whispered, "I thought I wanted to be remembered, but now I just want to be real." The ghost smiled faintly, fading into silence. Claire reached across the table, touching my hand, not as a fan or follower, but as a friend. The empire was gone, the applause gone, the mask gone. All that remained was me, scarred, fragile but real. And for the first time that felt like enough. The world outside might never forgive me, but I could try to forgive myself. My story wasn't finished, it was just stripped bare. And maybe, just maybe, I could finally breathe without pretending. The final words weighed heavier than the years of lies. I sat at my desk, camera off, no ring light glowing, just silence. I whispered. They will never see me online again. The truth didn't roar, it whispered like broken glass underfoot. Alex had vanished into shadows. Claire stood by me, but could no longer shield me from the silence. My ghost whispered, "This is the end." For the first time, the absence of applause felt like release. My empire was gone, and in its ruins I breathed. The final confession was not for them, but for me. I had ended the performance. The stage was empty, and I was stepping off for good. I remembered the first time I hit record, heart racing, hoping to be loved. Now I shut it all down with a click, and it felt like cutting oxygen. Claire asked softly, "Are you sure?" I nodded, though my voice trembled. "Yes." My ghost whispered, "You're free now." But freedom was bitter. The empire I built, the audience I fed, it dissolved in one decision. I wasn't their star anymore. I wasn't anyone. For years, I begged to be seen. Now I chose invisibility. And it was both terrifying and necessary. The applause was gone. The silence was permanent. And the curtain had fallen forever. The crowd turned their gaze elsewhere. New influences rose, brighter, shinier, untouched by scandal. I scrolled briefly, then closed it all. They replaced me as easily as changing channels. My ghost whispered, "You were never indispensable." It hurt, but it was true. For the first time, I wasn't part of the noise. I was just a person, small and fragile, but alive. No spotlight, no applause, no mask. The empire crumbled without me, but I no longer cared. Their judgment was gone, their obsession gone. And in their absence, I faced myself. Alone, but finally real. And real was all I had left. Claire stayed with me in the quiet, her hand warm on mine. She said, "You don't need them anymore." For the first time, I almost believed it. My ghost whispered, "Maybe now you'll listen." I closed my eyes, letting the silence settle into my bones. Fame had killed me, but truth could resurrect me, not as their fantasy but as myself. I wasn't healed, but I wasn't hiding either. The lies were gone, and what remained was raw and unpolished but real. And real was enough. I whispered, "I just want to be me." And this time, I meant it. The final blow wasn't the scandal, the betrayal, or the silence. It was the truth. I was gone, and I wasn't coming back. I whispered, "And that's why you'll never see me online again." The words cut sharper than any headline, sharper than any crowd's judgment. My ghost whispered. Finally, the screen stayed dark. They stayed empty. My story ended not with applause, but with silence. Permanent, irreversible, unshakable silence. No more lies. No more masks. Just me disappearing into the quiet I once feared. And this time, I didn't look back.